Sup? This is Greggatron. This, 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 this. Look at it. This. Yeah. Magnificent. This. Yeah. This is Greggatron. How are y'all? And do you like my shirt? Yeah. Chest so big it can fill up the whole screen. Anyway, speaking of this shirt, people tell me you look like that guy who plays Captain America. You look like Falcon. What's his name? That's what they tell me, right? I got that probably a million times, especially back when my goatee was long. Anyway, that's kind of what this video is about. Who do I look like? And at the end, I'm going to ask you guys, who do you look like? Alright, so this all started when I was in high school. Me and my friends, we'd be in the lunchroom, cafeteria, in line to get our food. Well, back then, in the mid-2000s, 2010s, '08, all that good stuff, we used to have these Got Milk posters on the wall. Remember that? Got Milk was everywhere. And they had these tennis players, basketball players, football, golf, you name it, soccer players. And they always had the milk mustache. Remember that? At the bottom it was like, Got Milk. And they were on commercials. They were all over TV. They were in the magazines. All that good stuff. That's a little fond memory I have. So if you're born after 2000, you probably don't remember Got Milk. Anyway, so we're in the lunch line. And there's a poster of Vince Carter. Y'all know Vince Carter from the Raptors. Big old poster right there on the wall, and it's like, Got Milk. And he's got the good mustache. Well, my buddy, he's next to me in line, and he's like, man, you look like him, man. I'm like, what? No, I don't. He's like, yeah, you do. You look just like Vince Carter. I'm like, whatever, man. Anyway, we go sit down with the rest of our friends. My buddy tells all my other buddies at the lunch table, hey, man, hey, doesn't Greg look like Vince Carter? Look at that poster. Does he look like Vince Carter? And half the table's like, not really. And the other half is like, yeah, I can kind of see that. And I'm like, I'm just rolling my eyes. But that's okay, because I liked him as a basketball player. He was real good at dunking, like power dunking. Okay, fast forward. I'm an adult, and I'm still getting these crazy comparisons, especially from young people. One time I was at the gym, and a guy runs up to me like he's out of breath. And I just finished my set. And he's like, hey, buddy, I'm sorry to bother you, but can I tell you something? And I take my headphones out. I'm like, yeah, what's up, buddy? He's like, I'm sorry, but you look like Larry Wheels. I'm like, Larry Wheels? He's like, yeah. Has anybody ever told you that before? I'm like, yeah, actually, you're like the third person to tell me Larry Wheels. And I remember the first time somebody told me that, I told my family members, because me and my family were in a group chat. I said, some guy at the gym said I look like Larry Wheels. And my family, they don't know who that is. Like, who is that? Well, then I find a picture of him on Google and send them a picture of Larry Wheels. And then my brother's like, you don't look anything like him. I'm like, I'm just telling you what they're telling me, right? So I got Larry Wheels 3 times, Vince Carter in high school. Well, it got worse. So worse, I had to write it down. So in my late 20s or so, teenagers and people in their early 20s, they started saying, you look like Michael Jai White. Or there's a girl I know, she calls me Bone. What up, Bone? For those who don't know, Bone is a character in a Michael Jai White movie. I think the movie's called Blood Bone or something like that. Anyway, she calls me Bone, but it's like an inside joke. So when people are around us, they're like, who is Bone? You know, Bone. So I had to tell them, Michael Jai White. That's what she's saying. So she thinks I look like Bone, Michael Jai White, and that's my boy. So compliment taken. There's another person who says I look like Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, okay, hold on. You guys are getting a little crazy here. I can kind of see Michael Jai White a little bit, but Michael B. Jordan, not even close. Just relax with that. It got worse. Somebody told me, you look like Will Smith. I think this was on the internet. I'm like, okay, you're just saying this because I'm black. At this point, like, I don't look like Michael B. Jordan. I don't look like Will Smith. Because Will Smith has a distinct look. He's got the big ears. You know what I'm saying? I don't look anything like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And that's okay, because we don't all look alike. Well, one person on YouTube said, you look like Lawrence Fishburne, you know, because I have a gap. I'm like, he's a little light-skinned. We have a gap. In his younger days, not really, but maybe. Sometimes you have to let it pass a little bit because you're like, And a lot of these guys, these are my people. Like Lawrence Fishburne, I know him as Morpheus. That's my boy. That's my homie. So you got Lawrence Fishburne, and then it was Falcon. He's the one I get the most. You look like Falcon, right? Let me make sure. Oh, yeah. Well, now there's a kid who told me, hey, you look like Dwight Howard. I'm like, all right. So Dwight Howard, I'll take that because he's got those huge shoulders. So that, in my opinion, is a compliment. I'm like, Dwight Howard, eh? Okay. That I will do. I'm okay with that. It got worse. Another person said, you look like Kevin Durant. I'm like, what? That's where I draw the line. Will Smith and Kevin Durant. That's ridiculous. Kevin Durant is built like a willow tree. That guy is like 7 feet tall. Flimsy, not flimsy, but very limbsy. Very long limbs. He's like Mr. Fantastic. Just extremely long body. And his face doesn't look anything like my face. Well, I had a goatee. I cut it recently because I'm going to a wedding this weekend. But I'm like, even with his goatee and my goatee, we don't look anything alike. Nothing. I'm like, where are y'all getting some of this stuff, man? So We got Vince Carter, Michael Jai White, Michael B. Jordan, Will Smith, Dwight Howard, Kevin Durant, Lawrence Fishburne, Larry Wheels, and Falcon, Anthony Mackie. I got them all. I even wrote it down so I won't forget. And I'm sure there's been more people than just that, because you know how people are. I go to Walmart sometime and there's a greeter. He looks just like Charles Barkley, right? And he knows it. I said it to him and he's like, yeah, I get that all the time. And he sounds like him too. It's crazy. But whenever me and my brother were a little younger, whenever we would go out and I say, that person looks like this person or that person looks like that person, my brother, he's always like, they don't look anything like them. He doesn't look anything like, who's that guy who plays in the Bad Boys movie? Not Will Smith, but the other guy. Martin Lawrence. I had the name Lawrence in my head. I was thinking Lawrence Fishburne. Me and my brother, we were at the mall one time, and I was like, that guy looks just like Martin Lawrence. And my brother's like, he doesn't look anything like him. Not even close. I'm like, okay. So whenever I say someone looks just like somebody, my brother's like, not even close. Well, people say it about me all the time, and now I'm like, not even close. Anyway, I think it's fun. My sister, she used to work with this dude, and she's like, she texts me like, hey, there's this guy at my job who looks just like you. And I'm just like, whatever. She's like, no, look. She takes a picture of her coworker, and he knows about it. Sends me the picture. I text my sister back, like, are you serious? Yeah, he looks like your doppelganger. I said, okay. So we have fun. I have fun. The people around me, we all have fun. Now, these are all the people who allegedly, supposedly, I look like. Because many of them, they're older than I am. Except for Larry Wheels. He's a little younger. I think I even had Samuel Jackson before, which that's my boy too. I'm not insulted by any of it. I get tickled by it. I think it's funny. It's a way to start conversation. And it's just fun. Now, with that said, I want to know who you look like. I challenge you to make a follow-up video. For example, I have a friend. You guys might know her. Her name is Terry Strange. She's what they call the strange one. Terry Strange, all right? A lot of people say, you look like Sarah Silverman. Y'all remember Sarah Silverman? They say she looks like her. Now, her fiance, on the other hand, I say he looks like Ethan Hawke, right? And his name is Jamie Russell. So Terry looks like Sarah Silverman. Jamie looks like Ethan Hawke. Now, we all have that one individual who we really look like. And family members don't count. Because my mom, to this day, she'll say, you look just like your granddad. Just like him. And my uncle, he'll kind of say the same thing. So family members don't count because we already have the same DNA. I mean, we all have the same DNA if you trace it back far enough, right? Anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Who do you look like? Celebrity-wise. That way we can see the person in the public light. Like, don't just say, oh, I look like my boss. Well, we don't know who your boss is, so we can't verify that. So, you guys are up next. As far as the people who I look like, allegedly, post in the comments, who do you think I look the most like? Maybe we'll do a poll. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that video would be fun. It's Wednesday. I want you guys to enjoy yourselves, enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend, and all that good stuff, and we'll talk. I'm gonna go to the gym. Speaking of Michael Jai White and all these people, Larry Wheels, I'm gonna go to the gym so I can look more like these people. You know, some of these guys are my heroes, so I'm okay with that. Alright, it's Greggatron. This was fun. I'll talk to you later. Peace.